guest speaker this morning, but he's one of ours, and we've had him speak here before, so we're kind of really happy about that. And it's Kyle, and he's gonna speak to us in a little bit. But we're gonna start, yay! We're gonna start with a couple of songs this morning, just to get us warmed up and to worship together. So, yeah, we're gonna start with this little light of mine, which is typically known as a children's chorus, but it's got a great message about letting our light shine, and it's for adults too. We need to remember that. So kids, when we sing the verse that says, hide it under a bushel, no, you can do like this. We always did that in kids' church. Hide it under a bushel, no, okay? So you can do that. Look at Auntie Danielle's got it. And then it says, don't let Satan blow it out. You just go, don't let Satan it out, okay? Think you can do that? Addie's ready to go. Okay.
Shine, let it shine.
to do with you this morning, but before we do that, we have another song. We want you to join us in singing to our speaker this morning. It's his birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kyle. Happy birthday to you.
How old are you?
21.
Yay, happy birthday, Kyle, that's awesome. I bet you love that spotlight. I just want to welcome you. If you don't know that we are doing an Easter breakfast next week, you're all welcome. You're welcome to bring family or friends with you. It's definitely an open invitation. We do have some sign-up sheets just to kind of give us an estimate on how many people will be here. The church, we're going to enlarge it a little ways out there. We're going to have some tables and kind of set up like this, but with some tables and everything, so we can all have our breakfast in here, and then the service will just start. I know we always say church starts at 10:30, but we know we fellowship before church most of the time, and not necessarily after church, but we're really going to try to start at 10:30, so that people who are here for 9:15 for the breakfast aren't here till, late in the afternoon. We want to try to get it. So if you come and you're a couple minutes, you can't come for breakfast, but you want to come a few minutes early to fellowship, please do. We're going to try to start at 10:30. Come in if you're late. You know that doesn't matter here. The only one who ever tells on you is Rox, the dog. And she seems to be the only one to care, and she's really kind of happy to see you, so it's all good. So there is sign-up sheets. There is trays and bowls that Margie got. So like if you signed up for a fruit salad, I haven't looked to see what anybody signed up for, and you want a bowl, so then you don't have to worry about retrieving yours or a platter, feel free to take them there on the round table going out the door. There is, I'm trying to think, there was a sign-up sheet. Oh, if anybody wants to help set up, we're going to set up on Saturday at 4. We are also going to be stuffing eggs on Saturday for the kids, because the kids are going to have a big Easter egg hunt during church, so feel free to bring even the littlest of kids. There'll be plenty of them, and there's plenty of help for that. And then the last thing is we put serve up there, and it doesn't mean that you have to be behind the table serving, but because the tables are going to be in here and we're going to, like I say, go right into church, if there's anybody who just wants to help clearing off tables when people are done, so we don't have to look at our dirty dish the whole service. I think that's it. And the kids can go with them.
Okay, the kids can go with Laurie and Danielle. Sounds good to me.
These days, why are you holding here at my side. Wherever you fall in the dead of night, whenever you call and please don't fight. These hands that are holding you, my hands are holding you. 'Cause I love you. I want you to know that I love you. I'll never let you go. And I'll be by your side wherever you fall in the dead of night. Whenever you call and please don't fight. These hands that are holding you, my hands are holding here at my side. Wherever you fall in the dead of night. Whenever you call and please don't fight. These hands that are holding you, my hands are holding you. Here at my side, my hands are holding you.
Lord, we just thank you to know that your hands are holding us and that you never leave our side, that you're always there, and we thank you for that promise. And Lord, we just thank you for your faithfulness to us and for your unconditional love that we often don't deserve, Lord, but yet you give it anyway. And we just thank you for this morning. We thank you for this gathering. We thank you for each one that's come. We thank you that Kyle is here to share with us this morning. And we just ask, Lord, that you would continue to bless our meeting together. Lord, you've just been in the middle of all that happens here, and that's the way that we desire for it to stay. And Lord, we just ask that you would continue to lead and guide and bless. And we just thank you for meeting us here each week. In Jesus' name.
Good morning, everybody. Hear me better now? I don't know how many of you guys were here the first time I spoke, but I wasn't that nervous because I had a lot of time prepared. And I had a lot of material that I wrote over months and months and months. And I was in a good spot. I felt really good. I felt happy. And when Tim asked me to preach this week, I don't know how many know that I'm a police officer and some days I'm not that great. So every day got closer to Sunday, work got worse. Something happened, something I saw, something I had to go to, people I had to deal with, started working inside me and making me angry, making me upset, making me hurt, making me question the existence of God, making me say, why is all this happening? If there really is a Savior, why? Where's this coming from? And I got nervous because I was like, I don't know what to say, because I don't have that joy. I don't know to be like, oh, everything's great, everything's perfect. And it was a battle. It was a real battle. And today might not be the happy-go-lucky sermon that everyone wants to hear on Sunday sometimes. But it's nonetheless something that we all need to hear and understand in our lives, that just because something's going wrong, it doesn't mean that there is no God. It actually allows us to see how much we need God and how powerful He is, but we don't want Him to be in our lives. I went to this call. It was the famous check the welfare. It's always, whenever we get that as a police officer, you're like, oh my God, here we go. And I went to the house. It's a girl. She was 19, I think, or 20. She's outside and she's crying. And I see the window is broken into. And I'm like, what's going on? And she comes in, runs to me, and she says, my dad's inside. And I was like, where is he, and how, like, what's wrong with him? And she just couldn't say anything. And so I walk inside the front door, and there he is, naked, slunched over his chair with a needle in his leg. And his daughter had to climb through the window to see her father slunched over blue. That was her last thought and last sight of her father, the guy who raised her. And in those moments, as a Christian, we always want to say, God has a plan. It's God's will. It's going to happen. We want to say that to people. Well, everything happens for a reason. Oh, you want to say something? You can't. You can't tell them that everything's going to be okay. You can't explain to them why this happened. And in those moments, I come home, I don't tell Heather this stuff, I don't tell people this stuff because I don't know what to say. I don't know how to explain it to them, and I don't want to put this weight on people. And I go inward with it, and I battle with it, and I get frustrated, and I get angry at God, and I feel less like a Christian every minute that I think about it more and I dwell on it more. And then I realize that in these moments, if we really focus on the true reason we're here in our lives and what God has done for us, I see God more in those moments than I ever have in any great, awesome thing. The birth of a niece, the birth of a nephew, a wedding, all those things. That's easy, right? Praise Jesus, hallelujah, thank the Lord. I have another nephew, I have another niece, I'm getting married, I have a beautiful house, a beautiful wife, beautiful children. It's easy to praise God in that. It's easy to see God in the good. It's not that easy to see God in the tough stuff. It's hard to explain it. But when we really search for it, and let God reveal himself to us, he starts working us in those moments more than he could ever in the good. For the first video.
I know we just met, and you've been watching this video for all of 2 seconds now, but I have a serious and personal question I want to ask you. What's that one thing in your life that no one knows about, or what's that particular area in your heart that you spend almost all your energy trying to hide? When I ask myself that question, a big thing that comes to my mind is my struggle with loneliness, or I try to hide those days when I really don't feel inclined to follow Jesus because, well, I make videos that tell other people about following Jesus, so that's not okay. Or a big thing I don't like people knowing is that sometimes I stay up all night terrified that I'm going to be a failure at being a husband or a father. See, we all live behind these propped up versions of ourselves, masking the shame, putting band-aids on the guilt, or trying to suffocate the temptations all by ourselves. The problem, though, is we weren't created to do it all by ourselves. To be truly human is to be truly known, and someone who hides can't be known. We were created to need each other, to be honest with each other, to encourage each other, and to love each other, and that only happens when we're open with each other. I mean, think about it. The paradox of the American culture is we're more connected than we've ever been. Only in 2013 can we tell what all our friends had for lunch that day all across the world, but we are also the most disconnected, the most fragmented, splintered, cropped, and edited people in history. Liking someone else's status that talks about us needing to be open and honest with each other doesn't count as us being open and honest with each other. See, in C.S. Lewis's famous novel, The Great Divorce, he paints this very unique picture of hell being a place where every person lives in complete isolation, thousands of miles away from the nearest neighboring individual, and the caveat is they all chose it to be that way. That's an awfully interesting look at hell, don't you think? Living in isolation on an island with no community or vulnerability with anyone else is stripping ourselves of our humanity. Why? Because we were created in the image of God, and God is a community. The Father, the Son, the Spirit, all acting as one, serving one another, completely dependent on one another, and to be truly human is to do the same. And yes, I know what you're thinking. It's scary to be honest. It's scary to be open. In fact, sometimes the person on the other side will reject us. They will hurt us, or they will make us want to crawl back into our isolated cave. But joy is at stake, and it only happens when we let the guard down. See, me, I'd rather take the messiness of community and possible joy than the cleanliness of isolation and sure despair. Because if you want to know the true depths of joy and the true reality of love, then you have to be honest, open, and transparent. Again, C.S. Lewis said it best, and I'll end with this. He said, to love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything, and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, then you must give it to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully around with hobbies and little luxuries and avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your own selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, and airless, it will change. It won't be broken, but it'll become unbreakable, unpenetrable, and irredeemable, because to love is to be vulnerable.
Every single week without fail, God comes up to me, and he gives me a hug, he gives me a kiss on the cheek, and he says, how was your week? And he rubs me in the back. And every single week, I say, it's good, it went fine. And that's what that's talking about. I don't want to tell. I don't want to tell anybody, right? We don't want to tell people our doubts and our worries and our struggles, and we want to be happy. I want to come home and hug my wife and be like, everything's great. I want to come to church and look at God and say, everything's awesome. But it's not the case. I don't see it. A lot of times I see the worst of the worst. And in that struggle, trying to keep it inward, I try to figure out how this is going to work in my life as a Christian. And a lot of times I feel like as Christians we're like that comedian. We're like Chris Farley, but with happiness. Chris Farley died because he couldn't live his life without making people laugh. That was his life. That everyone thought every time he walked into the room, people wanted him to make them laugh. That was his job. And as Christians, I know I struggle with it. I feel like I'm a Christian, okay, I have to be happy all the time. I have to be praising the Lord and saying my life is so blessed all the time. Because if they don't see that, then I'm not preaching, and I'm not living the life that Jesus wants me to live. But that's not true. You've got to be honest and open and vulnerable. And it's such a struggle. I know Tim knows what I'm talking about very much. And we need to understand that it's okay. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to question. We're humans. It's okay. I try so hard to put this front on, and nothing ever changes. Because I want my mom to be happy. I want my friends to be happy. I want them to see me happy. But that's not always going to work out. And the more I kept doing that, the worse it got. The less happy I got, the less excited I was. And things started changing in my short time. I would come home to my wife, and she would be so excited. It's like, she's overexcited all the time. Way too excited about everything. But she'd be like, oh, what's going on? Like, and I just didn't want to talk to her. Just like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't want to be happy. But I didn't want to tell her why I wasn't happy. And I didn't want to explain to her what was going on in my life. And as Christians, and as a church, and as a community, and that's why I love being here so much, is we need to bask in our brokenness and be so thankful for it, and have a place where we're not afraid to show all our fractures and all our broken bones and our messes and our spills and everything. That's what this is for. The last time I spoke, I had a video that said, same man speak. He said, the church is a hospital for the broken, not a museum. And that is what Jesus is about. That's what this is about. It's about knowing that I'm broken and knowing that I've had a bad week. Because guess what? If I tell Ghana that I had a really bad week, guess what he's going to do? Just give me one more kiss. That's it. He's going to love me. And in those moments, when we come here and we see what Jesus is about, which is grace and mercy and forgiveness, and we all have that with each other, that's what changes the world. That's what changes just one person. And in that moment, I looked at that girl in the face, and I didn't say it was God's plan. I didn't say she was going to become the next female version of Billy Graham because of it or anything. I just rubbed her back, and I hugged her, and I said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And when other people would be unsympathetic or whatever, I just knew, and I said, I just have to be there for this person. I just have to be there. Because that is what Jesus is about. It's not taking this and just chucking it at somebody, which often we do. Very, very often. And I've done it. I want to be good. I want to be good. I'm going to be a Christian cop. I'm going to always be positive. I'm always going to be happy. And I'm going to live in a way that this does not affect me. These things I see do not affect me at all. And the more I try to hide, the more I try to stay away, be myself, and sit on my couch with a glass of whiskey with no one else around me, the more broken I became. And the pieces got smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's got harder to pick up. Jefferson Duffy, he wrote this book as well. It's called It's Not What You Think. And he writes, because when I started following Jesus, things actually got harder. I had a long season of depression. Things in my life started to go poorly. Relationships broke, addiction stayed. I knew I didn't want to live for myself or listen to the fleshy desires in me, but they still called me and lured me more. I felt I had no place in Christianity. When I was a kid, the Christianity I saw never really gave me much space to struggle, fail, or ask for help. And I'm up here not to preach to you or say anything. I'm here to say I need help. I need help every day. Every single day I need help. And you need help. We all need help. Because some days we don't have that happy smile. Some days we don't have that joy. Some days we're broken. But if I let people know that I'm broken, and if we let people know that we're broken, have them help us pick up the pieces.
Video. Watch a video.
It was about 5 years ago now that I was totally depressed. I was lonely, I was anxious, I had no motivation, I didn't even want to get out of bed. If you've ever struggled with depression, you know it's like this mist or this dark fog that you can't seem to swim out of. It's as if the more you fight it, the more it swallows you. For me, it arose from a lot of disillusionment with what people had told me about Jesus to what actually started happening when I followed him. I was told my life would turn around, that everything would get fixed, or that I'd be happy and everything would change, and it did, just not the way I thought. Relationships broke, addictions stayed, and that pervasive feeling of loneliness kept gnawing at me. That's when I found this really strange verse in the Old Testament. Talking about Israel, in the book of Hosea, God says, "Therefore I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness, and I will speak tenderly to her." I mean, how weird is that verse? Wilderness was dark, it was dry, it had no light.